Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, we did it. We did
I
the first
know,
episode. We're literally
we did.
podcasters now.
I know. Again, welcome back.
Yeah.
Foot.
Welcome back, everybody. With Riri and Helen.
Yes.
Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself as the femme lesbian representation on the podcast?
Lovely, thank you. My name's Riri. I'm a femme lesbian, part of Femme and Futch. Today I've got a pink little cardigan. I've got my pink hair, as usual. Little pink earrings. And then I've got a nice little pink dress on. Black tights, black.
Amazing.
What are you wearing, Helen?
I'm wearing, so it's not a slogan this time.
No.
I'm wearing a jumper by my favourite drag queen, Gottmik. He was brilliant. He was in season 13, I think, of Drag Race. Okay, nearly won. I was really hoping he'd win, but unfortunately not. But yeah, Gottmik was the first trans man drag queen on Drag Race, and they were just amazing. They had so much. I loved their style. The whole aesthetic was kind of like rocky, and obviously like the white face they're very famous for. And I love this jumper because it looks like Kiss.
It's like a Kiss rip-off, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then just all in black, hair up.
Little bun today, no beanie, still no beanie.
The
The beanie will make an appearance soon.
Eventually.
Not today, but it will. It will very soon.
It will.
I'm sure it will.
But yeah, no, I'm Helen, and I sort of identify as a cis white lesbian. Yeah, that's me. I keep thinking straight. I know, just like...
She's still trying to go back. Every single episode, she's trying to say that she's straight when she's not.
I'm really not. I mean, it takes getting used to.
It does.
So.
I mean, it's not even been 2 years yet.
No, it hasn't. Two, cis white lesbians having a podcast, talking about all things queer, and just having fun.
Having fun, yeah. We said after we filmed the first podcast, we were really happy with how it went and everything. So, yeah. I was really worried that I'd be very sort of cringed out by watching us back and, like, listening to my voice.
Yeah.
I say like too much, so I'm going to try and stop saying like as much, but I'm sure I will.
It's you though. I say a lot, and I pause, and I lose my train of thought as well.
I was laughing the other day at work because one of the girls, she heard me make one of my weird little noises for the first time. And I was like, oh,
what weird little noises?
Just, well, when I think, I go,
Oh, I see.
And people think that I'm about to tell them something, but actually, I'm just like, what's going on in my brain? That's what I was doing.
Just need that little time to focus.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sometimes you have like a noise, or some people are like pen in the mouth, like touch their nose. I do that as well. Touch my lip, touch my nose.
Do you?
Then I remember what I'm doing.
Amazing. Love the quirks.
I don't know.
That's so good.
There's something wrong with me, but
there's something wrong with us all.
Other people do it too.
And that makes, exactly. And like that just makes things more interesting.
Yeah.
We can't all be beige.
No, we're quirky. We're quirky. That's why we're here. Because if we weren't,
I know. We'd probably be straight, living our straight beige lives. No offence.
I'm not doing a podcast.
The straight.
If the straight life is for you, that's fine, but it's not for us.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not.
And also, there are fun straight people. I'm just thinking of Vicky. Like she's she's incredible.
We know a lot of straight people that are fun.
Yeah,
that's fine. Don't hate straight people.
We don't. Awkward.
But we said, we watched it back and we liked it, and we sort of said, worst case, people will watch it and cringe at us, and then at least they are laughing. So as long as people are laughing,
that's fine.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
We're fine with that. And we enjoy it. We enjoy spending time together. It's nice to actually be able to like get to spend this much time together as well, because we don't anymore. Like we don't live in the same city anymore. Yeah. Like we're both quite busy with work and like other life things. So it's nice.
If you didn't listen to the first podcast, like we and I met about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We were both students in Leeds.
Yeah.
And we had the same kind of similar lives because we were both students.
Both at uni.
We were both uni, like
lived
studying.
in the same city, live not far away from each other, and then Leeds as well. It's like a big city. It's so easy to get around. We were going on the same nights out, same events, like gigs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, so we were always together, weren't we?
Yeah. And now, like, I don't live in Leeds. I live like a bit out of Leeds. You live more towards Sheffield way, and it's just kind of. We
have to plan to see each other now, whereas before it would be like, oh, are you free today? Oh, are we doing this like at the weekend? Or whereas now we're like, what are you doing in 4 months' time? Maybe we can meet up.
I feel like that's just adult life. That's
Yeah.
like getting to your 30s. It's kind of like...
We've got real jobs and houses and like...
I've got 20 minutes in my calendar on like April the 24th at 2:15.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Gonna book you in
Yeah.
for a little meeting. Catch-up meeting. So, our next segment, we are introducing one of the little sort of weekly things we're going to do on the podcast, which is Riri's Rage.
Love it.
I get angry about a lot of things in life, and I think that's okay, because like we live in this society where we're told to like, it's good to feel like all the positive emotions, but why are we not supposed to feel the negative emotions when we do? We should be allowed to express all our emotions, and men get away with it, so we should as well. Men are allowed to be angry, so women are allowed to be angry. So here we are. Sometimes we're raging.
Yeah.
And this week we are raging about... I heard a really good like song lyric the other day.
Okay.
It's a song, it's called Bang Bang. It's by Nessa Barrett, and there's a lyric in the song. Have you seen the films The Purge?
I haven't seen them, and they're not really my kind of thing.
No, so like it's a bit like
the concept.
horror.
Yeah.
I've not really watched it, but the concept is I think it's like 24 hours, one day of the year, all crime is legal, and none of the emergency services like police, ambulance, whatever, like nothing is open. So technically...
I find that, like, really weird as a concept. Like, why would... I don't know if I'd want to do anything.
Oh no, like I'd be trying to lock myself in the house and would not be part of it, but...
Oh, imagine all the racists and the homophobes and everything. No. Oh God, no.
Like, this is why it's fiction and it's not real.
This is true. Okay.
It would be very scary and horrible. But
yeah,
the song lyric is, if there ever was a purge, you're the one that I'd kill first.
Amazing.
And I was just laughing at it. I thought it was very amusing. I was like, yes.
So who would you kill?
I mean, maybe Trump, so we can just move on and...
He is one of the worst people in the world.
If it's going to be anyone.
There's been a consistent number of really bad politicians. There's just awful Boris Johnson. I mean, I take out the whole Tory government, actually. It's me saying I wouldn't kill anyone and now taking out the Tories.
And then you're like, right, 500. Let's go.
Tories and Republicans.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't want to go to America with the whole guns.
Oh, guns are so scary. It's crazy.
Is The Purge an American film?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I feel like we'd struggle here. Like, and I always think of this about a zombie apocalypse.
Sorry, you
tangent.
say, like...
we don't have guns.
No, we don't have guns. Well, we say we don't have guns. I know a lot of people that own guns. That sounds very dramatic, but just in a sense of, like, farmers and, like...
Course. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that many people who have guns.
Really? It's just stuff like
A couple, a few, but legally, so...
yeah. But I do think it would be harder in a zombie apocalypse because, like, The Walking Dead, like, you're just, like, everyone's got a gun, great, so you're shooting zombies in the head from afar. Like, in the UK, we'd be kind of, like, close combat. I mean, I'm not thinking
bow and arrow?
that, yeah. I don't own a bow and arrow, I've got a tennis racket.
All I have is kitchen knives. And then if they're that close, you're screwed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Knife's not going to do anything. Well, I'm not capable of killing a zombie with a knife.
Where are the butch lesbians? When you need them. So what was your rage? Have you talked about that? I just tangented completely.
Back onto the topic. So my rage of the week is I'm actually going to steal a rage from one of my friends.
Okay.
One of my friends posted on Instagram the other day, and she had put some of her clothes up for sale on, I don't know, a selling page, whatever one it was, and someone had messaged her. This man had messaged her asking if a pair of high-waisted shorts that she was selling were still available.
I feel like I know where this is going.
And then she was like, oh, hello, yes, they are available. And then he replied with, great, can I just ask you a quick question as well, if that's all right? To which she didn't respond. Well, I think she said something like, all right, expecting it to be related to the item for sale in question.
Yeah.
And he was like, could you put some used underwear in the package as well?
No, he didn't.
You have access to the internet. There is so many ways that you could find what you want from people that actually have it available.
It just
Like, you want to do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that if you want to do that, but it's there. Go to them.
Yeah, what annoys me is that, like, as you say, there are people who are willingly doing this and selling their services
You've
and
got
their products.
Google. You can Google that. You can find some.
But he's actively going and, like, targeting some randomer who's just trying to sell,
Like, specifically
this poor guy who's trying to sell her shorts, and then going all seedy. And I just really hate that, because it's like a dick pic being sent.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming in with,
Like,
like,
I didn't ask for this.
there was a non-consensual thing there.
Yeah.
Like, although he is asking, but it's still not cool, because
No.
like, she's not selling.
Like, you...
Oh, men.
So,
Horrible.
what is your rage of the week, Karen?
My rage. Now, it's not a rage, it's more of a kind of, like, annoyance and then it left me, like, I just, I'll explain and you understand. It was just annoying. So for work, I was going to, like, a networking conference event. I didn't really know anybody. I vaguely saw some name that I recognised on, like, the list of people attending. So I got there, signed in, was all nervous. I was like, okay, I need to bring my, like, socialness. I need to be, like, actively talking to people. Oh, God. So got there, signed in, gave my name, and the woman at the desk hands me like a piece of paper. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? And she's like, we're playing a game of bingo. But instead of numbers, it's people. So you have a list of 9 people on your card, and you have to go and find them. And I was like, okay.
They're really putting you out there, like, you will make friends.
You will talk to people.
Socialise.
I mean, it's fine. I get it. I love that, but I'm not
a bit
big...
of team building, but...
Forced activities?
Yeah.
Are just not the one. Anyway, it was fine. Okay, cool. But the worst bit about it, instead of, like, ticking these people off, like, talk to you, you had to come up with an interesting fact about... You had to ask them what interesting fact they could give you. And I was just like, okay, fine, okay. So
it's always an interesting fact.
It's always an interesting fact.
Can you introduce yourself to the room and give us an interesting fact about yourself?
Okay, so
right.
this was my so my start of my annoyance was, like, the forced activity. Fine, whatever. I start talking to people. I randomly get 2 people because they just happen to be talking to. Someone gave me one cool fact.
Yeah.
Which was, like, there's an organisation in the southwest that hosts the biggest confetti fight.
Oh.
And I thought that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds awesome.
That's like a nice, safe, happy thing to share with people.
Completely. Now, the problem was when it came to me, and I didn't know I was on anyone's bingo card, and it wasn't my name, it was my organisation. And so they were kind of, like, looking for people in this organisation, and I was the only one.
Yeah.
This girl spots my name tag. I was like, oh, you're from this organisation. Can you give me my last one? Can you give me an interesting fact? And my mind just goes blank. And all I can think is, like, I'm a lesbian.
Playing the gay card, Helen.
I mean, I didn't, though, because I was just like, I can't say that. That's not appropriate. It's a work thing. I can't be like, I'm a lesbian.
Like, there's nothing wrong with being a lesbian, but it might
not.
just not be the first fact that you're going to associate yourself with work.
Exactly, especially with work. And I was like, there's nothing lesbianness to do with my work, so I don't feel like it. And then I just couldn't think of anything. And I had to be like, I'll come back to you. And I went with, my nickname is Disney, because I think that's a safe one.
Yeah.
And it kind of relates to work. But... oh my God, the stress of trying to think of a nickname. I was like, I've got a dog called Albert, and then I was like, he's not even my dog. You just get in your head, and then you kind of just can't think of anything.
I think you had a bit of a panic.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Amazingly though, that woman won bingo and so she won a prize. So I'm
what
glad
was the prize?
I think some chocolate or something. It was a very basic kind of your standard networking.
Well done. You've all been forced to do this task, and it's finally over.
Yes. And a load of people gave up. I gave up. I just kind of, like, tucked it in my book and was like, oh,
lovely. When does this actual thing start? Why are we here?
Quite. But yeah, no, that was my my gay panic, I guess, in a way.
Your rage is your own gay panic this week.
Yes.
What's pissed you off? Myself. So, when we watched the first episode back, something that we realised that we didn't actually go into properly. Like, we discussed me trying to drag you out the closet at the Fletcher gig. But then
it would have worked. It was a good plan. And if you haven't listened to the story of me trying to drag me out of the closet, Go and
Go
listen.
back and listen to that one,
Yeah.
and then you'll know what we're talking about. So we didn't actually talk about what happened before we went to the gig, which was when you actually came out before.
I mean, yeah, exactly. The fact that V's plan didn't work because I was
No.
already out, I kind of
Yeah.
already got there.
The plan was already in motion, but
It
I just
was-
didn't realise.
Yeah. It was a couple of months before.
Yeah.
So Fletcher was like May. I think it was maybe 2 months or so before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must have been. Yeah.
So I'd already said to my housemate Eloise, like, I'm going to take Helen to this gig, to the Fletcher gig, like, so then she can experience a really nice lesbian time and come out. So that was my plan. And then a couple of months before the Fletcher show, I saw on Instagram that Helen had a little night out with some drinks.
I was in Manchester. I was on the
Yeah.
on the train,
Yeah.
and yeah.
You put up a nice little picture of you and Sarah.
Oh, it was a really
Hello.
cute picture
Such a
actually.
cute picture.
Yeah, it was really
So
cute.
And you put a little love heart emoji over the
Did I?
Well, it was like, you know, the
Aw.
one with the like 3 little hearts, the smiley face.
Oh
and
yeah,
3
like
hearts
I'm in
in
love.
it.
So cringe.
No, it's cute. It's cute. Put
Okay.
that up. And I saw it, and I screamed.
Did you?
I screamed. I saw it. I like, you know, when you have to hold it on Instagram so
Yeah.
the story doesn't go away. And I screamed, and I was like, Eloise, look, Helen's on a date. Helen's on a date with a lesbian. Like, this person in this picture with her is a lesbian. Helen's on a date. She's done it. We've not even gone to the gig yet, but she's done it. She's done it. And then so I just like typically like story replied to it with the like heart.
Yeah.
I hearted it, and then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna. I literally said to Eloise, I'm just gonna message Helen to see if she wants to tell me that she's gay now.
I mean, I should have talked to you beforehand. I'm so awkward. Like, sober me is just, I can't talk about anything, and I'm
No.
getting really embarrassed right now just even thinking about it. But no, I just am. I'm just so awkward as a person. I've always been like that. So, but yeah, so I should have
I
like
feel
been
like
like,
this
"Me."
is why we're good friends though, because we're just like, Helen, tell me how you actually feel. I get it out.
Yeah, completely. I love that you screamed. That's so funny. But I mean,
And then so I literally just messaged you and I put, hi, how are you?
and then I just knew then because I was just like, oh gosh,
She knows.
I've been caught. But I guess I was kind of like, what's it called? What's the phrase called when you're like dropping little like tidbits?
I don't know.
Breadcrumbing.
Oh.
I was breadcrumbing. That's the phrase. I think it's more in a relationship, but it's more of a
You were
toxic
breadcrumbing
trait.
for,
But I was
like, the rest
breadcrumbing
of your life.
for like I was kind of like I didn't want to. I've never been a big kind of like.
Announce to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of that, and it makes me feel super awkward.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to put out on social media like, hello, I'm gay now.
Yeah.
And
you
I mean,
don't have to.
maybe I did.
Yeah,
later
like
down the
after,
line.
when you were ready to.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Like, they don't always,
But-
like, just because you're, like, now seeing someone and you're in a happy relationship, it doesn't mean you then have to announce to the world. It's not like a black
Yeah.
and white, this happens, then this happens, then this happens. So-
Exactly. And I think the fact that I was putting up a photo, I felt really confident, I
Yeah.
felt really happy at that moment,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what, people can interpret.
Do you
from
remember
this
something
what they
else you
will.
said to me as well, like, after?
Okay.
You said, oh, do you think many people will, any other people will understand? Like, if a lot of our friends see this, like this picture with me and Sarah,
Yeah.
like with my little love heart emojis on it, will they know? Like, we're dating, like...
Yeah.
And I said, I think people who are in our community, like other people in the queer community, would know, potentially, but all the straight people, no. They'll be like, oh, Helen's like catching up with a mate.
I mean, apart from Vicky, like,
Yeah.
she's got amazing gaydar for
Yeah.
a straight woman.
Yeah.
Like, she's, yeah, she knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I did have a friend who was like, oh, I didn't know you were gay. And I was just like, really? Okay. Yeah, that's funny. Well, I guess I just, yeah, I felt confident to share that photo.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, I messaged you back and be like, yeah, I've got something to tell you.
And then I replied to you and I said, wait, don't tell me.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what it is. And then so I said, like, Are you going to tell me that you're on a date with this girl that you've just put a picture up with on Instagram? Because I think you are. And then you didn't reply. And then 5 minutes later I just sent you a text. If that's not it, that's fine as well. Just ignore everything I've said.
Oh,
and then about 2 minutes later you were like, yes! How did you know?
How did you know?
I've been waiting for this. And that's when I told you that my plan about Fletcher.
Yeah.
I've been waiting and I had plans to drag you out.
I mean, I love that you had plans. Thank you. But yeah, no, I got there and it was. Oh, we'd just been to a really awesome gig.
Yeah.
And it was to see a band called Nova Twins, who were really cool. Two female black artists who are playing kind of like rocky punk metal, and like they're just phenomenal. They're blowing up, and they're brilliant. And it was like, I think it was like a really perfect gig to introduce Sarah to the kind of music I listen to without taking them to like my sugar.
Yeah, so. It's like a nice ease you in.
Yeah. And then we just come back on the train and I just was feeling really happy. And I think the photo I put up was me like kind of like staring at them like really cute and yeah. But although I think that photo was me being like, oh my god, will they please stop taking selfies? Because again, I just get awkward with selfies. And Sarah they just take so many all the selfies. Yeah. But it's good. It was a good photo. Yeah. And I'm glad we got there. Love your reaction. That's so funny. But I do get awkward about it. Like I remember, like, 'cause obviously I told you and then I had to tell other people, and I remember Sarah was coming to one of my gigs and so I had to tell my bandmates. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my god, what do I say? And I blew it up into a massive deal in my head. And you know what? I think I've always like blown it up into a big deal because all the kind of like gay media we have is all about coming out stories. Yeah. And it's always negative. Like look at like Happiest Season, for example. Like she's scared to bring her girlfriend back to introduce her family to them, and then when she does say she's gay, like it's a really negative thing. And like it's just in media, it's always like the coming out, oh, it's a horrible thing, you lose touch with your parents. And I know for so many people that sadly is the reality. So I kind of thought that would be me.
You just assume that your experience of coming out was automatically going to be negative because of so many other people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like I know you didn't have the best one, and it was just like, I think I was really worried to have that and it to all kind of blow up. But I don't know, it was just so uneventful, like, which is amazing.
Yeah, and like that is how it should be.
It is,
because all you're telling people is, I'm happy with who I am as a person now, and like I'm more comfortable with being who I am.
Precisely.
So it's not what you might have thought it was, but it's this, and that's fine.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, no, I sent a text. I sent a text to the band into our group WhatsApp chat, and this was before Sarah had come out as non-binary, and I said, I'm going to bring my girlfriend to our gig. Hope that's okay. She's called Sarah. And then I threw my phone.
Send, throw.
Literally send, throw. And it went down the back of the sofa, clattered down the radiator. I thought I'd broken it. But it was like my gut kind of like physical
panicked,
reaction.
Like, it's done.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
And then they were so lovely.
Yeah, which they, of course.
And then one of them was like, well, at least like that term wags applies to us all now. Which is hilarious. Yeah. But it's hilarious. But yeah. I might call it WAPs actually, because it's like wives and partners. Yeah. I think it would be a better term.
Love a bit of WAP.
Although that does sound something else. But yeah, so after the band, after I'd like launched my phone, but yeah, it was great when Sarah came, and then you met Sarah for the first time at that gig, which was really great, and obviously Sarah met Laura as well. Yeah. And after that it was much easier telling people and actually talking about it. But it just, I think it's the first hurdle of putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. And then I did a YouTube video about it.
You did on your Helen Explains on your YouTube channel as well.
And that was really cute. Yeah, it was really cathartic because it felt like I could really talk through the process of what had happened and what had led up to it, and then and it just felt like it was I could craft the story, you know, my editing and stuff. So it was good to just be able to put that out there, and I got loads of really lovely reactions on that. I know. It was all like, it's literally all positive. Yeah. Which is just
good, like as it should be.
It should be, and even my uncle, or like it's one of my family members. a distant cousin, he actually said like, you shouldn't have to have a coming out story, because it should just be like, it doesn't matter if you're dating a woman, if you're dating a man, if you're dating a non-binary person, or whoever you choose to love.
Like, you should be happy.
Yeah. It should be like, this is my partner, and it doesn't matter what they look like or how they identify. And it shouldn't be a big thing, but
it is, like, that was something that we wanted to talk about, really, wasn't it? Because we sort of discussed before, like, why, like, if you think of every person in the queer community that you know, or like online presence, that sort of thing, we all have a coming out story, and it tends to be, or if they're in interviews or anything, one of the questions that people always get asked is, like, how did you come out? How did you know you were gay? Like, how did you tell your parents and your friends and family?
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it gets boring. It's so annoying. Like, if you met a straight person, like, when did you come out as straight?
Quite. When did you come out
like,
as straight?
When did you? And then there's also the other part of it is, yes, it's annoying, and we are kind of a little bit sick of answering it, but then also we understand that there is so many people out there that haven't come out yet, don't feel comfortable to, want to, don't know how to go about it, can't, because they're like, physically would put themselves in danger. And until we do live in this world where it is acceptable and safe for everyone to just be themselves and be who they want to be, we have to keep telling it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like fighting a fight, and it's frustrating.
It is frustrating, but at the same time, it's also a very privileged position that we're in. Like, we live in the UK, where it's not illegal to be gay. It's not illegal to kiss your girlfriend or your partner.
No, or like walk down the street holding hands.
Yeah.
Like, we are, for the most part, reasonably safe in our country, and that is so privileged, because there are so many people that aren't around the world. So it's why we do keep discussing it, to just
100%.
let other people know, like, you're not alone, there are other people out there, we're here, there are other people.
Definitely. And so, it's funny, like, it makes me circle back to like the story I told at the beginning of the episode, like, completely coincidentally actually, because it's not the most interesting thing about us.
No,
like, our sexuality and who we sleep with and who we love is not the most interesting thing.
No.
About us as people, and yet it's kind of made out to be
the only thing.
And I'm not invalidating that it's not a big deal
part of us.
And our part of identities. But I remember a friend of mine worked with a woman who was a lesbian, and she really hated anything to do with Pride, because she was like, I'm the token lesbian, like, people will always turn to me and be like, oh, could you do this?
Yeah, like you as a lesbian speak for every single lesbian ever. No.
And she was just like, it's not like, choose me because of my qualities or something.
Yeah, your personality, like.
But don't just choose me because I'm like the only gay that you know in the office.
Like the only gay in the village.
Exactly. It's just, it's really, that kind of side is really frustrating. But then at the same time, it is really important to just keep talking about it and keep recognising it, because you know, there's all the stuff that's going on in America at the moment of like trying to ban drag readings to children.
Ridiculous. It's like, did you see the tweet which was like, well, how many drag queens kill children and how many guns actually, like, how many school shootings have there been? But like, you're not doing anything about gun laws, but God forbid there's a man in a dress.
God forbid. Quite.
That's why the children are going to die.
I know. And like, it's like, I've read an article about, like, I went to a drag brunch to see what it was all about, and like, they had the most amazing time. They're full of joy, and it reminds me a little bit of like kids going to a party with like a clown, because
exactly, like, a drag queen is an entertainer, and like, a lot of the time these are entertainers that put a lot of hard work, effort, time, money into what they do. So it's like, if you're hiring a drag queen to do a book reading, you're getting a show. Yeah. Like, you are paying for a show, and you're going to get a damn good show. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it a bad thing? Like, what's the difference between, like, I don't know, like, a lot of kids' TV shows? Like, why is it any different? Like,
and they're not going to be exposed to sexuality or sexual themes that are inappropriate for children, because that's not what drag queens do.
Like, they're reading a kid's book.
Yeah. it baffles me, but a lot of America baffles me with their gun laws and everything. But and like racism, like banning all like the like texts that they say like, oh, you know, this has got critical race theory, and like they don't know what critical race theory is. They just talk about these terms and like, oh, anti-woke agenda, and it's just like you're not getting it. And like the agenda that people like woke people are supposedly pushing is actually going to help you in the long run, and it's going to give you a better quality of life. And it's not an agenda. We're not trying to make all the kids gay.
No, like our agenda is just like, we want to make the world a better place for people to be themselves in, and for us to all stop hurting each other.
Precisely, but because the problem is there's going to be gay kids and there's going to be trans kids who they are going to be gay and trans regardless of what you do.
So you may as well make it a nicer world for them to live in and understand. Like we talked about on the last episode, like if we had more lesbian representation when we were younger, we probably would have like come out at a younger age. But because we didn't, like I said, like other than one person, I didn't even know lesbians existed.
And it's funny actually because this got me thinking about like why we didn't know. And there's a thing in the UK that was called Section 28. I don't know if you're aware of it. Yeah, that kind of banned talking about like LGBT sexuality in schools. Yeah. And it made me think about my sex education in primary school. And like I don't think there was anything to do with like relationships really. It was all like biology.
It's just like you literally, like ours was in biology. You have 2 pages of the textbook where it's got like a weird drawing of like biologically how it was physically possible for a man to have sex with a woman, and like what the reproductive system was for. Never, like we didn't learn anything about how to cope with your reproductive system.
Didn't know how to enjoy sex.
That's what it does. That's it.
Yep. No, it's...
And that was it. Awful.
And so, you know, that only got repealed in the early 2000s. I can't remember off the top of my head what the date was, but I've got a great book about it. Yeah. And it was just shocking that happened. And I think me coming out in later life, I wasn't aware of these things. And I remember I follow a great... a queer bookshop in Leeds called The Bookish Type. They're amazing. And I saw the book advertised on their socials, and I was like, oh my god, is that a thing? Like, we're in the UK, and like I just said, it's a privileged position that we live in the UK. Yeah. But it wasn't about 20 years ago. Yeah. Look at me thinking like the 2000s were 10 years ago. Anyway, but like that's the thing, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it wasn't safe to be, gay. It wasn't like, and there's still homophobic and transphobic attacks that happen in the UK.
So many still.
Look at poor girl Brianna. That was just devastating. And it just, I don't know. This is important. Like this is why, like, circling back to our coming out stories, like
until everyone is safe in this world, we have to keep talking about it, and we have to keep raising our voice and saying, look, we are here. We do deserve rights. Like, we do deserve to be normal people in this world that are accepted. Yeah. And until every part of the queer community is accepted, we have to keep talking about it.
100%.
Like, that is the reality of it. So
there's a great term that will probably lead us into our next section about labels, but like it's the alphabet mafia. Yeah. And I was just like, I love that. We're like a mafia being part of the LGBTQ plus alphabet. And I just thought that was a really great thing, because like there's so many people who are still fighting for rights, obviously across the whole of the world. And but there's still stuff close to home that we can be doing and talking about it and just
sharing our
stories. So on that topic of alphabet mafia, which I think is a great term, we just want to talk about labels, lesbian labels.
Yeah, specifically lesbian labels, because I mean we've got our labels in the title.
Feminfetch. Yeah. But there's so many different ways that lesbians can identify. Yes. And so many descriptive ways, which are very much the kind of like how you look and how you come across in your style.
Yeah. A lot of them are like style related. A tiny bit personality, but in a sense of as well, like we will do a like specific podcast episode about this. Yeah. But almost like gender roles in a relationship, like some of them
very true
sort of cover that sort of, but that's like a whole other podcast. But some of the labels do cover that as well.
So if I could start us off, I actually wanted to call the podcast lipstick and chapstick.
Yes.
Because you get lipstick lesbians, which would be a femme lesbian like Ree. And then you get chapstick lesbians who are kind of like, well, yeah, as you can see, like not the makeup-y, not the lipsticks.
No.
They're more of the futch type lesbians, like myself. Because I've always wearing chapstick. And
you've always got chapstick.
I mean, Vaseline, but never lipstick. But never lipstick, exactly. Which I think they're quite cool, but they are quite obscure. And I guess I remember I think we talked about it, and I didn't want it to be like a makeup podcast because it's not.
No.
And it might have just been a little bit too obscure a reference.
Yeah, I feel like if people who weren't part of the queer community saw it and like saw lipstick and chapstick, they're going to be like, oh, what's this about lipstick or like lip products? Like we're not a podcast about lip products, so we didn't want anyone to think that.
We're really not. So that one didn't quite work.
No.
But yeah, obviously we spoke about femme and futch. Do you want to talk through other kind of femme-y?
Yeah, so we did actually have a little write down of like all of the different labels we could think of, like off the top of our head, like lesbian terms, and then we had a little Google of some others as well, because there is so many. Like there are so many.
Yeah.
And
there's new ones like coming up. All the
like
time.
I said about ninja lesbians last week, that was like a new one that I just heard the other day. So like ninja lesbians, similar to lipstick like straight passing as well. What else have we got?
So
to go with futch as well, there's also like a soft butch. So like futch was the progression of soft butch.
Yeah, so I feel if we have a scale would be kind of cool. I feel like we should maybe make the scale, but oh well.
Like the chart, but like the scale. Where do you fit in on the lesbian scale?
But I think you've got the kind of futch in the middle. I think soft butch is definitely leaning towards butch. So obviously I'm identified as a futch lesbian, which is a combination of femme and butch. But then the same term for futch, or very similar term, is stem. Now this is a combination of the words femme and stud. And now stud is another word for butch. But to be a stud, you need to be a black or Latina lesbian. Essentially not a white lesbian. Butch is very much term for a white lesbian, who are the very kind of masculine lesbian. And we say masculine in the broadest sense of it, because they're obviously not masculine, being women. But so people who identify as stems, like I would never identify myself as a stem because I'm not black. I'm very much white, and I think it's really important to recognise that. Because
it's. I mean, it's not necessarily something that a lot of lesbians do understand.
No, I think I've seen it a lot in America. I think stud is a lot more of an American term.
Yeah, it's not very much a UK one.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think it's important to recognise the context of where these labels came from, because obviously butch lesbians have been, around and calling themselves butches for years and decades, and stud I think has come out of the fact that black women have a different experience, and black women lesbians have a completely different experience to white lesbians, and so they've kind of claimed this term stud as their own, rightly so. Ultimately, so those are the kind of broad ones. I feel like I've gone off on a bit of a tangent of explaining them.
Tangents, I feel like we just call the podcast tangent.
I mean, we really should have done.
That could also be true.
But I think I really like those terms. I think you can sit anywhere from between, your butch and your femme, or your stud and your femme, and then anywhere in between. But yeah, what other terms have we got?
We both decided we were both a little bit of a lesbian. Which is like a lesbian that comes out a bit later in life. So we both did, like late 20s, early 30s. So
that's very true.
One of those.
And then our Lord and Saviour, Fletcher, would identify as a celesbian.
Yes,
being a celebrity.
She is a celebrity lesbian.
I mean, I feel like they're stretching a little bit here. She's femme, but I feel like she's got a little bit of futch in there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, she's kind of combination, but then she can really do like high femme looks. With some of her outfits.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just femme. I don't
know. I think she's leaning a bit.
She's got some like mask energy.
Yeah, definitely mask energy.
Yeah. And actually when we say mask energy, that's more that kind of traditional, like dominant kind of energy. And that's the problem with these terms.
Like aggressive, but not in a negative way.
A lot of these terms obviously come from very binary gender roles. But you can be like a butch lesbian, but then have a very like feminine energy.
Yeah.
Or you can be a
golden retriever lesbian.
What is that? I've never heard of a golden retriever lesbian.
Yeah, no. So golden retriever lesbian would be like a mask or like butch lesbian that has the energy of like a clingy puppy.
Oh, and like a really happy, loving.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's really cute. I mean, I might say Sarah would be one of those.
Yes, like Laura could be one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it. I love that we've got like quite mask energy partners.
Mask energy partners, but they're golden retriever gays.
Amazing. And then inside we've got the mask energy.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're the boss bitches.
That's hilarious.
Not that they're not boss bitches, but...
No, exactly. And it's stupid putting things into a binary because everyone fluctuates along. And of course that it doesn't define you. But I do love these terms. So actually with that boss energy you've got power suit.
Yeah,
kind
power
of,
suit lesbians as well.
Vet from L Word would be very
definitely
much. She was like high flying director of an art gallery.
Yeah, like career driven and like
but then very femme as well.
Yeah.
But she only ever wore suits and trousers. She's like the energy I'd love to.
Oh yeah, like if like talking about the L Word, like out of all the characters, who would you want to be like? I think I'd want to be like Bet, minus the cheating. Sorry for the spoiler.
I think, but she can be quite self-centered and not like she doesn't think of others.
Maybe Bet's a Leo.
Yeah, probably. No offense to Leos.
What others? We've got astrology lesbians.
Astrology lesbians.
What's your
sun moon's amazing.
What are yours? Do you know yours? No,
I am not an astrology lesbian.
I'm Leo rising, and then I think I've got Gemini moon. Am I Gemini? No, it's not Gemini. And then I'm also Leo again.
Ooh,
what's it?
Double Leo.
Sun rising moon.
I just I definitely looked it up once, but I can't remember.
We just need to get back on.
I'm a generic Libra, so I'm very balanced. Maybe that's another episode. Maybe we need to because
we'll go into that.
I'd love to learn about it. Like
a bit more.
Yeah, I didn't mean to laugh at it because I don't find astrology like stupid or anything, but I just don't understand it, and it's so complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, isn't there?
There's so much to it. And I'd never even heard of like the sun, moon, rising. I don't know which one is mine. My generic Libra.
So
one.
Like your typical star sign would be like the first one, like based on your birthday, and then with your your sun, moon, and your rising, it's based on like the exact time and date you were born.
So I don't know my exact time, but
you'd have to find that out to work it out.
I think we're now like stretching on our like terms. I think I do love the cottagecore one.
Oh yeah, cottagecore lesbians. That's
now I would call
that's definitely like one that has happened since TikTok.
Yeah, and I would call Jessica out of the closet, the YouTuber, who's also a YouTube lesbian.
Yeah, of course. That's one on the list as well. YouTube lesbians.
But I would call her cottagecore, but she's very like vintage.
Oh, I love her.
Beautiful, like beautifully presented.
Yeah.
And she has her channel's amazing. I love it so much.
I love her channel.
She's like the mums.
It's good.
Yeah. Lesbian mums.
Well, because she just covers so much. Because like she's a mum. She's also disabled.
Yeah.
As well, and she just like all of the videos that she does. She just has so much knowledge on everything, and it's not just like knowledge as in she's just talking at you about something. She like talks to you about something so that you understand it, and then you can also learn from it, and then also like help for people who might be going through the same thing as her. She has
completely. She raises so much awareness about disabilities and chronic illnesses, and she's so real about being like, I couldn't get out of bed today. She's beautifully presented, and when I say like she's just like everything
she's a vintage queen.
Yeah, vintage queen. She's so articulate, and yet she just doesn't beat around the bush. She's kind of like. No. I couldn't get out of bed, I've had migraines for days, but this is life, and I've got a newborn baby. Her and her partner, Claudia, are just, they're lovely.
Very sweet.
Very, very sweet.
So sweet.
But yeah, there can be any type of lesbian, can't there? Like, you can be...
as we said, we've not even got through like half of the list, but there is so many on the list, so if you feel like you want a label, then there's going to be one there for you.
I want to say something cringe, like, let us know in the comments. But, you know.
The one person watching, please let us know what you think.
Yeah, do. And your favourite term of lesbian,
Yes.
or your
What
most
do you
ridiculous one.
identify as? Yeah. Oh yeah. Please do. There must be so many more ridiculous ones other than like cottagecore femme or like astrology.
Yeah,
Astrology lesbians. Like there's going to be more.
so much
So
fun.
many more. Please
Yeah.
let us know what yours are.
But yeah, I think that's the end of episode 2.
Yeah, that's all we had discussed today. So
Yeah.
next week.
Next week, what are we going to be talking about? Well,
I think
wait,
well.
wait and find out.
Yeah, might be a wait and find out. We've got some ideas.
Got lots of ideas,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, thank you for listening. If you got this far, you can contact us on femfootpodcast@gmail.com, and obviously on Instagram, TikTok. I think that's everything really.
Yeah, we don't have a Twitter. I don't know how to use Twitter.
I'm not a fan of Twitter.
No.
Twitter's just for like, Twitter is actually
Twitter's
the Riri
for
rage.
angry people.
Yeah, your rage would go down well.
Twitter is a rage. Maybe I'll get on Twitter and then I'll have more to rage about.
Yeah, that's
If I ever run out of rages, I'll get on Twitter.
brilliant.
Don't find us on Twitter yet.
No,
I'm not angry enough.
but yeah, follow us and obviously listen wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you.
Bye.